So we have a chance to look at an Iron Cross card holder today. This is an offset produce product. I got to stop smiling over that. I've never done that before. Mark, you're going to laugh at me on that one. I've done a lot of these and never done that. Yeah, the card holder is unique in that it has a lot of internal scrap cuts that on a flatbed cutter causes a lot of issues. You have to get a lot of product out of the middle of these things. It's an offset sheet, and then on top of that, since it's a point of purchase type of an item, it's a delivered item, the clean cut edge is really important. So from a flatbed cutting standpoint, that's a challenge with with nicks that are usually required on a flatbed. And then additionally, it also had to go through a step of adding a tape to the middle so that a card could be inserted inside the folded flaps. And I think what we have today, we're going to show, I think Robert can walk through the process really well, but we're going to go through the state of producing, say, a 50,000 or 25,000 sheet run and let it go through the process.
Yeah, so we picked this product as this is one of the main products we looked into the program for. So it's a 100,000 piece product, 25,000 sheets off the press. So this is our original process, which, as you can see, has quite a bit of steps to it. So we had the offset printing side, then we were outsourcing that whole section there in red, which was, we transported it to a local vendor, which did the finishing for us. So it was a process of flatbed die cutting, stripping, then feed and glue, then double-sided tape, then batch, and then transport back to us. So that whole process, you added a lot of days to the turnaround time on the product. So we roughly did some math there, and it's about 108 working hours, which we calculated. Again, that doesn't account for the outside vendor schedule, other challenges they may have, or us working around them and not working around us. So that's kind of what we saw and what we aim to try to improve. On this slide here now, I'll show this is the new process. This is our process currently with the Bogramma in place. So as you can see right off the bat, we have probably half or maybe more of the amount of blue squares. So here again, we're doing the same print process. That did not change. We have one additional process, which is to cut the sheet in half at the guillotine. And then we hit the Bogramma BSR line, and we're basically knocking out in one step all these processes: the die cut, the strip, the glue, the application of the tape, and the batching. So that was huge for us. And again, it's the ROI for us was the ability to turn the work faster, much faster, to help our customer with their needs. Like everything else today, it's due yesterday. So it allowed us for that. It allowed us to really QC the job through the process. We weren't necessarily having issues with our vendor. We have some good vendors, but again, it's something internal that we could keep an eye on, and we could control the quality, the scheduling. So we did kind of the math there as well, and we could knock this job out, same job in about 10 hours. So I mean, we're talking pretty substantial savings of time, man hours, touching, which it opens less touching, doesn't allow for other errors to happen, which unfortunately in printing, it's prone to happen with all the different processes we have going on at the same time.
I think before we go away from that process, I think one of the things I like to point out to people that are looking at die cutters like this, it's kind of finding its place in the market and where a D2 die cutter like this size fits. It doesn't compete with a full size flatbed that's pounding out 100 million tissue boxes in a packaging environment, right? That's not a good fit for something like this that's a small size. Where it really does fit well is on multiple up products that are on the smaller side that have, I guess, what we call medium type runs. And what I wanted to point out on this slide is that we're still going to a guillotine cutter to take that full size offset press sheet and hit it once with the guillotine. And we cut it into an A and a B sheet. And even with that in there, the steps are incredibly reduced. And we at MBO realized this when we, because we're very exposed to that sheet fed offset side. And we realized that's a perfectly good match for the, for the machine. It doesn't have to fit only into a B2 or a 1319 or any of those types of small sheet types of environments. It can fit in the other environments in the run length with that one cut. So before we go to, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and I'll tag on to that. I mean, we do still outsource quite a bit of die cutting. Again, we worked with MBO to find a solution for one of the products, which wasn't even this product at that time, for one of our customers, and then it kind of evolved into some other things. But I mean, we do still outsource quite a bit, so it's not like this is just taking out everything else we do. So it does have its place, basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, right.
So I'll kind of go over a quick summary of what we just talked about. So we had about a 98-hour of labor time reduction with the new process. No transport off-site, which even though the company we use is local, you do lose a day back and forth just with staging and getting into the schedule. We reduced about four people through the process. And then again, the new process is one guillotine operator for the single cut, one BSR operator for the make, ready, and the run, and then one helper at the end of the line. And the last thing, which is kind of what we looked at, is we internalized that profit. So instead of paying somebody else's shop, we're just keeping it internal, and it's something that we do run consistently. So it's helped us with that aspect.
Great. We did have the opportunity we've got a couple of photos of the machine. It's a little big to fit on a nice photo. So what I did is I've got a photo of the die cutter with the connection to the folder gluer on the right side of the machine. But I thought I would go through a layout with a little process description. For those of you that are into the engineering side of this a little bit, this is what's really going on. We take the 2-up sheet, right? It's printed 28 by 35. I'm sorry, 25 by 38 and split in half. Then they take the 2-up sheets, run them through the die cutter. The die cutter has an internal matrix stripping section. So that outer perimeter matrix is stripped away automatically. The holes are removed from all those internal cuts. That's made capable because we don't need on a rotary process to have the nicks that are normally associated with die cutting. The folder gluer is the next piece, and it runs right from the die cutter into the folder gluer. We internally call that a vacuum transport table because it's not necessarily just a folder gluer. That table is a vacuum style transport that can have multiple processes on it. In this case, Solo Printing has a tape head applicator, and then there's some plows and a gluer downstream of it to finish the product. So the holes are removed, the tape is applied, folds the flap over, and it's delivered. So that's kind of a layout process review for those of you that enjoy the engineering side of this. And then the flexibility thing that we talked about earlier, it's a big deal for the line. So what we took here was a chance to show you some layouts of the same machinery just configured in a different way. The The die cutter, as you can see, is always on the right side in the line, and it's used as the feeding system and the cutting system that gets the shapes out of the back end. Over on the right top, you see where they just use it as a die cutter, and you can cut out cards and tags and labels and things like that, and just deliver them out, stack them up, put them in a box, and you're done. The system that you see second below on the right side is the system that produced the Iron Cross, but you can also use it for straight inline folding carton work and direct mail work that comes out in that direction. You don't have to use the tape dispenser. You could have a second plow in that situation. And then you see a greeting card type line in the lower right where you cut it. It scores automatically in the die. It's integral to the die cutting, and then goes onto a buckle folder and it folds. So, and then you can see where you can rearrange the folder gluer in combination up on the left side drawings with a buckle folder in the process, and that gives you a large number of ideas on how you can finish something. So with those 5 different components, you have a system that is really versatile, and as long as it matches up to the run length and the economy of the job you're looking at, that easily can be make ready to pull off a medium or long run and be a really great economical solution.